Dave and Darren's Top 5 Things podcast. Here we go. It's the top 5 things that we got done on our morning show, which you can hear at Planet 93.9. Locally owned, fiercely independent. My name is Dave, and this is my partner, Darren. Hello, Darren.
Hello. This podcast was brought to you by Nature's Treatment of Illinois. They've got 2 locations, Tech Drive in Milan and West Main Street in Galesburg. Nature's Treatment of Illinois' goal is to fully understand their clients' needs physically, mentally, and emotionally because they know it's not easy to live with a chronic illness. Their experienced wellness consultants will sit down with you and discuss what options work best to make you feel more comfortable. Frequently asked questions are answered if you go to the website, and that would be ntillinois.com.
Here we go.
Number one.
I know that it's early, and we've just got it started here, but I do have some news about something that's on the menu in Florida. Get ready, because they want to put python on the menu. Would you eat python, Darren?
It probably wouldn't be my first pick. Python sounds, it's so muscly.
They say
It just seems to me like that's going to be kind of tough.
it has the texture of fish, and yet, as the old saying goes, it tastes just like chicken.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather eat the python than the python eat me.
That's true. Good point. Here's the issue, though. They're trying to figure out whether or not, because they got to get rid of these pythons. There's way too many pythons down there in Florida. These things were introduced into the Everglades in the 80s. They were either released or, escaped pets. They don't belong there. But they are booming, brother. They are booming in the Everglades. And they've been trying to figure out a way to kind of rein in the python population. And now they're saying, well, maybe if we
Live action.
if we cut them up and serve them, make appetizers out of them, maybe that's one way. They would like to Florida officials say they would like to use consumption as another way to encourage people to remove pythons in Florida. The issue, though, is they have to determine whether or not pythons are safe to eat.
Well, yes. Yes, please do that.
That is an important question that I don't think we should just brush off. The fear is that pythons might contain too much mercury. So the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is doing a study to make sure that these things aren't just packed full of mercury.
You know what eating python sounds like to me? A good way to get diarrhea.
Well, or go crazy, right? You get that mercury poisoning and you're mad as a hatter. Can you imagine somebody going crazy on account of all the snakes they ate? That's a story. They're doing this study to make sure that it's safe. Pythons are non-venomous, so you don't have to worry about getting any, venom. But the mercury that they might be ingesting while they're there in Florida, that could be a problem. They're now working with the Florida Department of Health to determine the mercury levels. One scientist is already quoted as saying, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Quote, mercury is a natural occurring element in the environment, and it's high in the Everglades. We expect the results are going to discourage the public from consuming pythons. One python hunter says she eats some of the smaller pythons, like 7 feet long. That's a baby python. And she says she tests them for mercury before she eats them. One person, now they say it's got the texture of fish but tastes more like chicken. Although in this article here, they're saying it's more like pork, like a pork chop. So it looks like fish tastes like chicken but also is a pork chop?
But cuts like a pork chop.
The Python Elimination Program removed 6,000 pythons from the Everglades so far. They have eggs. Could you have python eggs?
A python omelet?
These are extraordinary times. Why not eat python eggs?
I hate to see things go to waste.
Two.
Manchester, England. Story here of a rave that got busted up. Now, a couple things to point out. Manchester has been home of the rave culture for decades.
That's where it started, right?
That's where the whole thing started, exactly.
Acid house.
Right.
An acid house rave? Is that a thing?
Sure, I think so. This story, though, raves in the late 80s and 90s and 2000s in Manchester. That's very much a part of the culture, very much part of the Manchester scene. It's difficult to do a rave with everything that's going on, especially in the United Kingdom right now, where things are pretty gruesome in terms of what's going on COVID-wise. They're doing all kinds of shutdowns, and there's talk of a mutation that's going on with the COVID over there. So they got to really lock things down. There's travel bans. Countries across Europe saying no one from England is allowed to come into their country. This rave is in the news, though, because it did get shut down. But what's interesting is usually a rave over there takes place in like an abandoned warehouse or a club.
Yes.
Right? This one got busted. It took place in an elementary school bathroom. And the 12-year-old schoolboy who threw the rave had all of his DJ equipment confiscated after the teachers busted him having this rave in the school bathroom.
Right. For a total of how many people? Just himself?
This was during lunch.
One man rave?
During lunch, kid sent out a Snapchat to invite all the boys from his grade to come and join him for a rave in the boys' room.
Yeah. In the toilet.
That's right. The rave included complimentary soft drinks and Cadbury twirls. As this kid, Cale Bell, showed off all of his turntable skills with a DJ set.
Yeah.
The party lasted a good 30 minutes there in the boys' room before it was broken up. According to his mom, Cale's speakers and lights have been seized. She says she's not going to punish her son for putting on the rave. She says, I had to laugh. It's been a terrible year, and I couldn't be angry at my son for trying to spread some cheer. When I got the call from the school, it made perfect sense. She says that he had been up and ready for school earlier than usual that morning and raring to go.
Got to pack my equipment.
And that made her suspicious. The fact that he was raring to go.
This kid's up to something.
That's not normal behavior for Cale. She says here, he had the biggest smile on his face, so I knew he had something up his sleeve. I asked him what he was so happy about, and he told me they were having a rave at his school. I thought nothing of it. I didn't think for 1 minute that there would be any truth to it. But when I heard what my son had done, from advertising the rave on Snapchat to actually pulling it off and providing refreshments, I couldn't help but see the funny side. Dad also thinks, by the way, it's hysterical. Mom and Dad had to have a conversation about whether or not they should be angry. But they're saying, how could we be? And now this kid is being deemed a legend of the Manchester rave culture. He is 12 years old.
A rave in a bathroom. You know what this reminds me of? Pitbull's New Year's Revolution.
30 minutes before the teachers shut it down. Teachers seized his equipment, including his decks, speakers, and disco lights.
Well, 30 minutes, that's one whole lunch session, right?
Yes. He organized the rave and invited all the boys from his class. So, yeah, the speakers and lights have been confiscated. Disco lights in the bathroom. Mom says when we asked him why he did it, he told us school was boring and they had nothing to do at lunchtime. You know what you can do at lunchtime? I would counter
lunch.
You have something to eat. So now they've set up a fundraiser to support the next generation to get this kid a more professional kit for when he's.
I never found lunchtime boring.
No. No, lunchtime that's very often the best time you have. Look at this kid. He's got his setup there. He's got the decks. I mean, get some pizza, have some potato chips.
Enjoy some refreshments.
Uh-huh. So he's not in too much trouble with his mom and dad.
No, but he's got to get his stuff back, which it sounds like he probably will.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like reading here, this kid goes to a Catholic school.
Unless grandma gets a hold of it and pawns it.
Different story.
Different story.
But yeah, this kid is now a legend in the Manchester Raves community.
What does he go by? Does he have a DJ name?
Yeah, they're just saying his real name. You're right. This kid needs some
sort of moniker.
Yeah, that's a great call, Darren. He needs to go by, DJ Flush a lot, or I mean, what do you even go by? This kid is going to get all new equipment now donated to him, and he's going to have all of these DJs take him under his wing. This is going to be the smartest decision this kid ever made. Hey, you're not in that much trouble with mom and dad.
It was a business move.
We're going to be hearing about this kid like 10 years from now when he's the new Chemical Brothers. Oh, yeah, that's that kid from the bathroom.
Number three. Three.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, Darren. Mom and dad can hardly wait till school starts up again. And Santa Claus is caught in power lines.
Mm-hmm.
This happened in California. A Northern California man who was impersonating Santa Claus and flying around on a powered parachute had to be rescued after he became entangled in power lines.
So that's what that was. And he didn't die?
No.
And wasn't injured?
He's okay and is said to be in good cheer. This happened just after the man took off near a school in Rio Linda, California, to deliver candy canes to the children of his
wait
community.
A minute. So he's only in the air for like next to no time at all.
Yep.
So he takes
Santa's
off.
coming with the candy canes.
No, Santa's
What's going on?
Santa's taking off, and as soon as he takes off, the first thing he hits is a power line.
I'm going to share with you what may be my favorite sentence I've read in the year 2020. Okay? Santa flew into a maze of power lines and wound up suspended in them, a Federal Aviation Administration spokesman said. Yeah, that's right. Santa flew into a maze of power lines. The man who was not identified, he's one of Santa's helpers, had to be rescued. There's video that shows this guy dangling from the power lines.
How did he not electrocute himself?
It's a fair question.
I guess Santa's magic powers.
But he's not. He's just one of Santa's helpers. But yes, he's in this red and blue aircraft, a powered parachute. He's seen dangling overhead, strapped into the pilot seat. Neighbors watched as ground crews worked to save Santa. Carol Bolselman, who lives nearby, says that the pilot flies overhead often. Quote, "This is not the first time he was in his Santa suit." Power had to be shut off during the rescue.
Yeah, no kidding.
To 200 customers there in the Rio Linda area.
That's right.
Why can't I watch the game? Santa's stuck in the maze of power lines again. How's that my problem?
See, now, when I saw that picture yesterday,
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was something
Like the witch
like
in the tree
like
decoration.
the witch in the tree decoration. I thought the Santa in the power line thing, but that really happened.
According to the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District spokesman Chris Vestel, quote, "It's unfortunate, but we all need to remember there's still a lot of good in the world. There are people doing good things, and look to the brightness of the holiday season."
How is flying into a power line a good thing?
It's for Christmas he did it, Darren. Because he did it for Christmas. So it's a good thing.
You cut off power to 200 people that might have needed it.
The fire department says in a tweet here, without a scratch and full of good cheer, we made sure old St. Nick will use his reindeer next time he sees you. Yeah. I'm just flying around in my parachute.
Yeah. Well, the next time, maybe we can electrocute some reindeer.
This is not the first time he's been flying around in his Santa suit. We've had to put up with this a couple of different times.
He took off and then straight into the power line.
Here's the audio from TV station KCRA out there in California.
Safe tonight after crashing into power lines in Rio Linda today. It happened just after 11 o'clock near M and Front Streets. Metro Fire says a man wearing a Santa costume was flying in a hyperlight aircraft, and that's a single passenger craft built for low altitudes, and that is when he flew into the lines. Multiple agencies had to respond to help make sure the Santa was able to get down safely.
Our first unit arrived on scene and did find the vehicle stuck in power lines. That was causing a power outage to about 200 different customers in the Rio Linda area. So we immediately called for the power utility SMUD to shut off power and assist us in making it a safe environment to perform the rescue in.
I gotta throw away all this shrimp because some jagoff wants to fly around in a Santa suit? Mm-hmm. No, man. No.
I was trying to record my favorite show.
I'm missing.
I'm on a breathing machine.
I'm missing Impractical Jokers for this Santa?
Which is interesting because they're doing the same stunt on their show.
Yeah, it might be one of them. That's a great point.
After shutting off the power, firefighters were able to make their way into the lines and lower Santa to the ground. Crews say that he did suffer some numbness due to sitting for so long. He was taken to the hospital just as a precaution. Firefighters say that he was disappointed he couldn't deliver more holiday cheer.
So the pilot had a mishap. He was actually out doing something real good for the community, and in 2020, I think something that we all need. He was trying to deliver candy canes to kids that were playing throughout the community, so we commend him for that. It's unfortunate, but we all need to remember that there is still a lot of good out in the world. There are people doing good things, and to look at the brightness of the holiday season.
You know what I would say? If my kid was out playing and some screwball flew over and dropped a candy cane on him, I'd say, throw that candy cane in the garbage. It's probably dosed. You're not eating a candy cane from some nightmare flying around in a Santa suit.
What?
Daddy, Santa dropped a candy cane. Did he? I'm going to drop that right in the trash.
What's dosed mean?
Oh, it's a thing. Oh, yeah. I guess we got to have that talk now.
We have to have the dosed talk.
Son, the first thing I want you to remember is don't look at yourself in the mirror. Mm-hmm. It'll just take you so far inside your head that's where you spend the whole trip.
Uh-huh.
And cotton candy's fine, but orange juice, you gotta have some orange juice. Replenishes.
You know what part of his body went numb? The crotch.
Santa's crotch. From sitting so long.
Well, yeah, that's been
sitting so long. And also, by the way, I don't know that they really point this out, but they don't have to because they're video, so we should point this out. He's upside down.
Well, yeah, he's upside down, so his seatbelt, his restraints are cutting into his crotch.
Oh, man.
That's what went numb.
Someone's having a blue Christmas in his pants. Oh, Santa, you ridiculous claws.
Four.
Darren, animals do the darndest things.
They do.
And we like to highlight their adventures and misadventures with a segment we call Dave and Darren's
Animal Farm.
Whoa, if I could talk to the
Dig.
animals, just imagine it, chatting with a chimpanzee. Imagine talking to a tiger, chatting with a cheetah. What a neat achievement it would be.
Good way to get your face eaten off.
Yeah.
Chatting with a cheetah?
They do have a habit of doing that, don't they?
Uh-huh.
Welcome once again to Dave and Darren's Animal Farm. Joining us as always, the charming and delightful old Uncle Darren.
Oh, little snot-nosed Davey.
Hey, Uncle Darren, we got some stories about animals doing some crazy things. Yeah, we begin in Japan, where a giant squid washed ashore. A giant squid. These are almost impossible to see. It's very rare to have a rare giant squid show up like this. Measuring 10 feet in length, it washed ashore, largely intact. A married couple in the Kyoto prefecture first found the dead
Can you imagine
squid.
the parade of sous chefs running to the beach?
What?
What?
These things can grow as long as 43 feet.
Isn't that wild?
This was only 10 feet.
Still.
Man and woman were taking a stroll along the beach when they happened upon the giant squid. The Japanese press reports include a photo of a woman sitting next to the dead squid, which measured 5 feet across.
Happy holidays. We were struggling to come up with a theme for this year's Christmas card.
Struggling.
Well, there it is. That really, we think
Is your
perfectly-
Christmas card Joe Namath sitting next to a giant squid?
Yeah, it's dead on the beach.
Uh-huh.
We were on a stroll and we saw it and we thought,
He
wouldn't
wants
Mr. Namath love this?
He wants to make sure you're getting everything you can out of Medicare.
And this dead squid.
And this dead squid. Calamari for all.
Is the
And
giant,
for all a good night.
is the giant squid gonna be all right?
Does not sound like it.
No,
No.
it's super dead, little snot-nosed Davy. How about this? In Pennsylvania, a rescue team rushed into action when a deer fell through the ice on a frozen lake. Personnel summoned on Sunday to Lake Wallapawpack when a deer was reported struggling in the frigid ice.
Joe Namath just went down in the ice.
Struggling.
Oh, that's a deer. You know how I can tell that's a deer? It's got smaller ears than Joe Namath.
Joe Namath just went down for the second time.
It was weird. All the deer wanted to talk about was making sure I get the most out of Medicare. So weird.
Why was Joe Namath dressed like a deer and why was he on the ice? I thought he said he wasn't drinking anymore.
The team said that members of the public assisted them, helping get this deer back to shore. They were able to get a rope around the deer's neck
that's a
and
tough
then
job.
scoop it up into a rescue vehicle for safe transport back to the shore.
You don't have a lot of time to work with.
No, they were able to jump into action and save this deer's life. The video ends with the deer running off into the woods after being returned to dry land. Well, that sounds like that deer's going to be all right, Uncle Darren.
This venison is so chilled.
Why is this deer wearing pantyhose? What the hell's going on?
Why is this deer wearing a mink coat? That's no deer.
It doesn't make a lick of sense.
Deer, that's Joe Namath.
Here's an animal story I think you boys will enjoy from Florida. Thank you. Tallahassee, Florida. Audrey Icabelli woke up at 4:15 in the morning to find a new Christmas decoration in her living room. Somehow a raccoon had found its way into her Christmas tree. A live raccoon. She says, I heard a scuffle in through the doggy door. I don't know how the heck this happened, but there's a cat inside my Christmas tree.
That's no cat.
In the video, her dog is watching attentively. She attempts to coax the cat out from the tree. She pokes at it with a frying pan, like the handle of the frying pan.
Can't you find a longer handle than that?
Then she pulls out a wise man statue from a mantelpiece holiday display to try and poke the cat out of the tree. Then she sprays the cat with vinegar. It's not a cat, though.
No.
At no point was it a cat. It was a raccoon the entire time. The dog finally decides this is enough and lunges for it, and that's when chaos erupts. She can be heard on the video saying, quote, "This is bad. This is bad. This is bad." Then she's pleading with both the raccoon and the dog, "Don't knock over my tree." Well, the tree goes down, and it goes down hard. Glass ornaments shatter. And this woman, who at the time, by the way, it's 4:15 in the morning, she's barefoot and in a robe.
Why do you think it would work? You can't reason with a raccoon.
She jumps onto her furniture as the dog and the raccoon roll around on the floor.
Oh, no.
Biting, scratching, barking, and snarling at each other. It's worth pointing out that as bad as this sounds, both animals are okay.
Good.
That was my question.
That was a close call.
They're not geniuses.
I was going to do it.
Why the raccoon didn't go for the doggy door or the front door that was also wide open just a few feet away, we'll never know.
Yeah.
It wanted to fight with the dog, apparently. It then runs into a dining room, up a table, where it starts to check out a chandelier hanging above.
Yeah, that could be my escape right there.
Finally, she is able to shoo the animal outside with a broom. And then posted the video later. The dog had a few minor scratches, but the dog's going to be okay.
That's good.
And the raccoon made it out alive, too, so all's well that
But that
ends.
Christmas tree is struggling.
How about this in Thailand? Baby elephant walking on the side of the road when it gets hit by a motorcycle.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
They just got,
just baby elephants
By the
walking
side.
around. The elephant got hit, the baby elephant got hit by a motorbike. And video now going viral online is this little baby elephant goes down hard and it's not breathing. And this fella, Mana Servate, sees what's going on. And now this is a guy who has performed resuscitation attempts before in his career, but never on an elephant. He knows CPR, and he jumps into it, and he just starts giving CPR to this baby elephant, giving two-handed compressions and doing the whole bit. Baby elephant, are you okay? That whole schmear, and then the next thing you know, baby elephant comes back to life.
Finally, my chance to make out with the baby elephant.
Stands up after 10 minutes and walks right back into the forest there. It had been trying to cross a road with a group of wild pachyderms. This is in the eastern Thai province of Chhatrapuri. The guy who crashed into the baby elephant also had some injuries, but he's going to be okay. But more importantly, the baby elephant is going to be just fine. And this guy who rescued the baby elephant has been a rescue worker for 25 years. He came across the accident while he was off duty. He was just on a road trip. He says, my instinct is to save lives. I was worried the whole time because I could hear the mother and the other elephants calling for the baby. I assumed where the elephant heart would be located based on human theory. And when I saw the baby elephant starting to move, I almost cried. After 10 minutes, the baby elephant stood up and was taken to another site for treatment. And now it's going to be just fine. The elephant, he says, by the way, he mentions that he's done CPR a bunch of other times.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only time that
It's worked.
it's worked. This is the only victim he's ever revived through cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So, but the baby elephant's gonna be okay.
I want to be a baby elephant.
I love that you don't even finish anymore. You just go, oh, and everyone knows the shorthand for that. Finally, an Oregon sheriff's deputy investigating a report of a cheetah on the loose near the Oregon Zoo was able to find the animal. Turns out it was a stuffed toy. Why someone's putting a stuffed cheetah toy in the woods near the Oregon Zoo, we'll never know.
To mess with us.
The deputy said he arrived on the scene and used his words now, ninja-like skills to sneak up on the animal. Quote, of course, it sat there dumbfounded that I was able to get so close. Turns out it was, in fact, a stuffed animal.
Not quite a ninja, are you?
No, not quite. And that, friends, is Dave and Darren's
Animal Farm!
Animal Farm! Do we have the Animal Farm closed? Because I find that that's really...
Kind of makes the whole thing.
I'm shocked that this isn't a story that we have annually. Like it seems like and I'm not the first person that's wondered if this has ever happened. A story here of a thief who stole a Salvation Army donation kettle.
Yes.
And then posed as a volunteer to collect money for himself. So it's not enough to steal the money from the Salvation Army.
Then I'm going to put it into use.
Now that I got this kettle, I'm going to go around and, make some more money. Montgomery, Alabama, the police department's on the lookout for what they're calling a real-life Grinch. Salvation Army reported one of their red donation kettles was stolen and is being used now for personal gain.
Or someone who's desperate.
Yeah, but that's not the way.
Now you remember the story that we had from years ago that was told to us by a former coworker.
No.
That his dad was ringing the bell for the Salvation Army.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was in Clinton, I believe.
Okay.
And he was ringing somewhere like maybe across from a bar.
Okay.
And at some point, some guy came staggering out of the bar, started kind of looking at the kettle, and looking at him, and this guy's dad was like, "Don't even think about it. Don't just walk away. Don't even think about it." And the guy made a grab for the kettle, and he fended him off with the bell.
No.
Yeah.
I've never heard this story.
Yeah. Pummeled him good with the bell.
That's my favorite Christmas story ever.
Yeah. Rendered him useless.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Using the Salvation
Using
Army
the bell
as a weapon?
Well, I mean, it's a decent size. Some of those decent sized bell.
Yeah. No, I'm on board.
Yeah. Yeah. He rang his bell.
They say they're not sure how, but someone was able to steal one of their kettles. Was last seen in downtown Montgomery, Alabama, posing as a representative of the Salvation Army, trying to collect money for personal use. The suspect was confronted and then left the area on foot. Last seen on Thursday, but they have not made an arrest as of this time. So they're now saying, if you're going to be donating in that part of Alabama, make sure you're dropping your money in the right kettle. I mean, what, you got to ask for an ID now?
Going to do my best to stay out of Alabama.
It's not a bad idea.
That's a pledge to myself for this Christmas season.
For the holidays?
Yeah, for the holidays, stay the hell out of Alabama.
The lieutenant with the Salvation Army there in Alabama telling the WSFA 12 News, quote, "I'm not sure if the plan was taking it different places and using it as a way to get money from the community, but we feel like it's our responsibility to let the community know. If you see someone out there that doesn't have on a red apron, that's not standing in front of one of the stores, the Walmarts, the Winn-Dixies, the Hobby Lobbies, it doesn't have a stand with a sign on it and the kettle will be chained to it, that's not us."
What if you got a red apron, though?
How hard is it?
Is that impossible?
How hard is it to get a red apron?
Google it. I bet you can buy a red. I bet you can buy a red apron.
I bet you could just find one
What do you mean find one?
at like a store.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if this is a case where, because I know locally in the Quad Cities we've been dealing with this, where there's just not as many people that are willing to ring the bells. They've had a real shortage of people willing to do it, so sometimes they'll just leave the kettle unattended.
How many people are going to question whether you're legitimate or not?
I mean, I'm right. I wouldn't. I don't know though. You could get a feeling.
Oh, where are you from?
Right. Like the gimmick is you put $1 in and you go into the store and you feel good for a couple of minutes. You're not really asking questions.
Well, I'm talking about even if you are an employee at a particular store, you're going to be questioning somebody?
Now, we've rung the bells for the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
I did it, was it a year ago, 2 years ago? It was the last time I've done it. I've done it all this season. You can get a pretty good haul, but it's not like you're making, it's not huge money.
And the last time we did that,
Yeah.
that was that was during a day and age where people still actually had cash in their wallets or purses.
Yeah. Last time I did it, I got bronchitis. So it's been a while since I've done it.
All I wanted for Christmas was bronchitis.
I don't got time for that. I got bronchitis.
Is it all over, Rock? I guess so. I didn't think it'd be like this.
Hope you enjoyed today's edition of the Top 5 Things podcast here at NotShowRadio.com and DaveandDarren.com. If you have not yet left a review on iTunes, that would be helpful. If you could let people know what you think of the show. Be kind, but not so kind that, you know.
Yeah, tell the truth, just not all of the truth.
That's it. Well said.
You know how to play ball.
That's going to do it for this installment of the Top 5 Things.
It was brought to you by Nature's Treatment of Illinois. Milan is open every day. Galesburg is open weekdays and Saturdays. The Milan store offers both medicinal and recreational. Galesburg is recreational only, and the recreational waiting lists are available. Reserve your time at ntillinois.com.
Until we get a chance to do it for you again, hang loose, kooks.
You stay classy and safe, Quad Cities.
Come on, Quad Cities, representing. This is for the Quad Cities record spot. Davenport, yeah, we keeping it locked. Rock out, come on, and it just don't stop. East Moline, yeah, they keeping it hot.
Great show, everybody. Great show.